The gameplay I'm watching, I would guess your rank to be Ascendant or lower. And the big reason why is you're not greedy enough to be an Immortal or a Radiant Jett player.
Smoke.
Chamber's gone. He's hit like 120 at least.
Okay. Now remember, this is why I explained we take 50s and higher, not fights. With 36 HP, almost nothing is a 50-50, right? So I would play this very... I wouldn't do this. Now, you lucky son of a bitch. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You still die. Very important. You don't hear what I'm saying and go, just take fights. No. I'm saying take 50s and better. Peeking out here is never a 50. Okay? You see what I'm saying, Talkshow? 36 HP? How am I playing? Here's how I'm playing 36 HP. Like this, man. Just like this. Maybe crouched in the middle. Aim at head height. Okay. There's a reason you see pros play passive like this. Because sometimes it's right. Because they can't find a better fight. Okay? I'm hoping the pattern. I'm hoping I'm opening your eyes right now, Dogshot. I'm hoping like, wait, it makes sense. I don't just get aggressive. He's not just saying get aggressive. Sometimes I do want to play passive. I just don't do it at the right time. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join my official Discord over at discord.gg/woohoojin. Here you can enter free raffles to win free VOD review live on stream. You can also support me with a premium membership, which unlocks access to private VCT restreams, professional player analysis, shared professional strategy channels, and much more. Enjoy the video. Okay, Jett on Fracture, not the first pick I'd recommend. Right, like Neon's better, Raze is better, Yoru's better, but Jett's all right. He's all right. I do not like this peak if we don't have a flash from our breach or something. It looks like he might be stunning, which is good. I would just dash blank. Yep, I was faster. Yeah, let me compare for you. I dash now 136. Okay, perfect. I'm dead on where you are. And we'd be roughly, here at 122. Okay. Back to your vibe. Is barely anything, except I probably would have been able to knife out sooner because you see them all coming out A. Right? It's not much. It's like this distance, right? Like I would have been here on this ground and you're down here, but it is faster. A lot of the time, competitive games are kind of like speed running. Anytime you can milk 200 milliseconds out of something, you should like feel good. Like, I don't know if any of you have done speed running at all. But the speedrunning community like gets hyped if they find something that saves them a fraction of a second, and they'll all start doing it every time. Valorant's kind of similar. If you can find some pattern that lets you save time every time, then it's really valuable. And it's very suboptimal to ignore these things. Because now we're on an A retake. Down a man. We already lost the round. We couldn't do anything about it. It keeps me more warm inside to know I couldn't have done anything. And my timing was really good. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I dashed right away and I knifed out and this still happened, I'd feel better about it. But now it's hard to say. Could we have won? The unfortunate bit here is you don't notice this guy as a ghost right here. Because they did shoot one bullet at you. They shot at you. Yeah, I heard one. Contextually, we could have known she's alone. And I think you did know, right? Because you dashed right forward, which is just suicide. Our Cypher needs us. So you're choosing to grab this Reyna's gun over helping Cypher. And it's the wrong choice because the Reyna just has a ghost, right? Those 2 rounds were mostly in our team hands. Like, let me rewatch. I don't think we could have done anything different here. They're 3 stacked. They've got the right setup, breach chamber. And you're a bit slow to react to that KO knife there, but not really.
I don't see anything dead.
You're not that slow here. It's not about if it's quick or not. It's about, remember, every second matters. It's a speed run.
Suck.
And this round is not your fault. Nothing we could have really done. I mean, could you have won the 2v3? Would Tarek have won this 2v3 here? Yeah, probably. But I can't expect you to win this 2v3, you know? And I'm not going to coach you how to win these 2v3s, because that's not how we're going to climb.
I'm gonna grab a beer. You guys should extend this round.
Your teammate's going to grab a beer. Wants you to drag on the round. I think your duo's calm right there kind of explains why we're still Ascendant 1 though. The gameplay I'm watching, I would guess your rank to be Ascendant or lower. And the big reason why is you're not greedy enough to be an Immortal or a Radiant Jett player. You're too calculated. You're too passive. Watch again. You get your kill, you dash over.
Another one.
Come on out. You survive. That, nothing wrong with that.
Another one arcade.
You get smoked off.
See who it was.
Hey, where are you looking?
I'm playing off the
They're not
trips.
up, they're not up, they're
You
not
play
up.
off the trips. Nothing wrong with this.
I have a camera. I have a camera. One's
Right
up.
next-
Just watch, just watch. I'm gonna tell you when you deviate. Right now, you haven't deviated from like Tarek, right? Other than I could tell from the movement. But we're not gonna look at the movement. Even here, you're still all right. Okay, now we would have deviated. So watch the minimap here. Notice our breach is starting to expose his back to be main. Here, a Radiant Jett is walking either up, come through the smoke, or wrapping canteen. That's a bit slow from us.
Just play off the trip.
He's totally open to be main. They just happen not to be there. And then we find this Reyna, and you don't shoot. Here, after he gets this kill, we'll rewind.
Two main.
Like here we are, we would knife them up draft after that fight disengaged.
One by.
Like force that Reyna to fight us, right click her, the least. But then here, again, knives are not draft. It's like a confidence thing. Is it 4v2? Yeah. Is knifing and updrafting to take a 50-50 objectively wrong in the 4v2? Yeah, in a coordinated team game. Would Tarek do it here in solo queue? Yes. Would Tens do it here in solo queue? Yes. Would I do it here in solo queue? Yes. Would JG do it here in solo queue? Yes. You see, all of the high, low, like any Radiant level Jett player in this scenario is fighting. They're updrafting with knives immediately. You have to play solo queue, not coordinated 5v5. So if somebody tells you here to play numbers, I'm hesitant to agree with that advice. When we've got knives, we've got an updraft, we know that they're B main. I'm down to just take that fight, man.
One here.
He's done.
Molled it.
Hoops. One down.
You got me? You
Oh
got me?
shit.
I got you, dog.
One more.
Spike down.
You see what I'm talking about? Has he unswung? Watch again. There's a point
me?
here.
You
Oh
got me?
shit.
I got you, dog.
Oops. One down.
You got me? You got
Where
Oh,
he's
shit.
staying like wide,
Dog.
chilling. Like he could dash away here to avoid another 50, you know?
One enemy
Shot.
remaining.
And see his chamber? Look, this fight his chamber's looking for, there's no numbers involved here. His chamber's looking for an explicit 50-50. Gonna talk about? Tarek can't join that
One
fight.
enemy
Shot.
remaining.
Totally normal. This is like super red pill from me, but there's nothing wrong with taking a 50-50 when you're up in numbers. It's only bad if like it's not a 50, like if it's a bad fight for you. But if it's a decent fight for you, then you're chilling. Pro play, taking that 50 is objectively wrong, okay? It's wrong. No. This advice applies to everyone, Stellar. I will tell a controller player to swing that and fight. And I'll show you any pro controller player you name will go to their VOD and they'll swing and take that fight. That's just how the game is played in solo queue. It's just different. If you want to play the slow, collected numbers game, join a team, okay? Solo queue's not that. And like, there's still team play, don't get me wrong. It's more like, don't play for it in the middle of a round. So when do you play for team play? This is a good example of that. If you're like rotating with the homies, you've got time to set up the team play because you don't have anything else to do. If it's pre-round, you have time to set up team play because you got nothing else to do. If it's mid-round and you're getting hit, it's not time. Not time. So here, they can do this retake together. Setting up for a retake, you do together with your homies. Setting up defensive positioning and a plan pre-round, you do that with your homies. Setting up your attack on offense, you do that with your homies. But mid-round, they're hitting you and, you know, we're deep into our plan. No homies. No homies. Just
Back
you.
left, back
Just
left,
you.
back left.
Now our Cypher's alone.
Yeah, they're arcade.
That's fucked up.
Jett's tower.
So now that swing that you went for there is ridiculously crazy. That's not a 50. I wouldn't recommend doing this, right? Because look, you're just totally exposed to B main where you have no good info. You gotta realize at this point you're playing retake, man. You did this to yourself. It's fast flood. You need to come out off of a breach flash once they're on site. And if you don't want to do that, well then don't come Jen. Jen, what would you have done? That KO knife comes here. I'd look for this. I'd take this fight. This is quite fair. Right? No problem with this. And I'd probably tuck down here and tell Cypher I've got his back and he can worry about sight. And I'll fight for this. There's a lot of good ways to find decent gunfights around these boxes. So let's say we have a tank, okay, that gets filled with water. And let's say this bar here is my baseline aggression, where I start at when I go into a game, okay? That bar there. I start there when I go into a game. In this game, I was hot. And so I raised the bar, right? Now, the one thing I never want anybody to do is lower the bar, okay? The bar doesn't go down. The bar remains at the minimum. The good example of this is like buying an operator. Like a professional player, even if they've failed with their operator the past 5 rounds, they're going to get it on the 6th round because that's how they play Valorant. That's the correct thing to do. This bar is correct play. You don't go to play suboptimally because you're whiffing. You reset your mental and you try to pretend like it's 0-0. Try to pretend like new round, new me. You don't get more aggressive, right? You only do that if you're hot. You're really hot. You're feeling yourself. That's fine. Getting more over aggressive because you're feeling yourself is okay. But getting under aggressive because you're not feeling yourself is a path to a quick loss. You're just going to lose. And if you get like offered an opportunity for a fair 50 and you don't take it in Valorant, I'm going to almost always tell you that you should have taken it. Like there are scenarios where it's obviously okay not to take it. Let's say all your homies are A. These are your homies. They're these X's. It's 1v5. You guys have 5 alive. You're Jen. And you hear them coming B. I would not take this 50 because there's no risk of this guy killing my homie. But the moment I've got a homie, like let's say here or here, I'm taking the 50. I don't want this guy fighting my homies first in a mid round. Like you don't mid round IGL coordination. That's all. You want to do that pre-round. This, I love this. Look where we are. This is exactly where I wanted us that other round.
Play off my cam. Peek off my cam. Peek off my cam.
Hey, look. Conveniently, your Cypher's telling you peek off his cam. Don't touch this box. I hate this. Why are we touching this box? Remember when I said don't mid-round call shit because your teammates are going to make you mad? You just made your Cypher so mad. You got scared. He said peek off his cam.
What do I do? They're pushing me.
They can't push you. Okay. So his cam right now, his cam has this. They can't get you. They can't get you, Darrow. You're safe. You're safe. Let's say I'm B. I've just planted the bomb. I'm in a 1v1 and my teammate says Jen. It's lit. I'm swinging, only looking Jen, and I'm walking Jen to try and fight this 50 right away. And then if I die from canteen, main, arcade, tower, I just get mad at that guy. The moment I swing and I look canteen and I die to Jen, they get mad at me because you're like, I told you. So this guy says peek off my cam. He's clearly talking to you. You recognize that. But just wait and peek when the thing happens, because you should be expecting a thing to happen, some type of dart or him to maybe say swing. The way we peeked is bad as well. Playing close like this is really bad. You can't angle yourself. You need to play back here. We want to stay away from these boxes. The only time we'd be getting close is if we want to like Ferrari, a really wide swing. What's the benefits of going sicko mode? This is like a tricky thing for me to explain. A lot of coaches fall into this pitfall of treating Valorant players like emotionless chess pieces. They go, this is wrong. It's objectively wrong. And they don't understand that in some scenarios, it's good to feed the confidence of the human controlling the mouse and keyboard. Okay, so in any given gun engagement, let's say we have the red guy, we got the blue guy, okay? They have odds in any given fight. And let's say they're equally mechanically skilled. Okay. So let's say there's different fights. Fight A, B, and C. And let's say in fight A, they each have a 50% odd of winning. This is a 50-50. This could be a long range open gunfight with decent cover for both of them. Let's say a 70-30. This could be a long range gunfight where the blue player is caught out in the open and the red player has cover close to them. The inverse can happen. So there's all these types of gunfights in the game, and the odds of one player winning them are different in each of them. None of them is a true 50-50. There's no true 50-50. The idea is you played out that gunfight 1,000 times. A certain person would be favored in that fight when played optimally. You want to find gunfights like A and B, and whenever you find them, you take them. And if you see a gunfight like C, you avoid. Okay, so this is still a fight, right? But if you're the red guy and this is the fight that's offered to you right now, you probably don't want it. Probably. But maybe you do. Maybe your odds of winning the round are lower than 30%, and then you're down. So think of it this way. If we'll call this column R and column B. So let's say that we're the player R, and the P of R will represent our probability of winning the gunfight. And then the P of capital R will represent the probability of winning the round. So let's say we're on eco and it's 2v5. Our probability of winning the round is like lower than 30%, right? I don't know what it is, but it's lower than 30%. If our P of R, our gunfight, is greater than our P of R, then fight. Let's say greater than or equal to. Let's say our probability of winning the round is like 80%. Then we don't necessarily take the fight. Notice this only goes one way, okay? This implies fight, but it doesn't imply don't fight, okay? So I'm saying if your probability of winning the round is like 20%, then take that 30-70. However, if your probability of winning the round is 100%, then don't discount that 50-50. Let's continue this. This equation's not done. Now, if your P of R is greater than or equal to, we'll say 55, then that also means fight pretty much at any time. So let's say our probability of winning the round is like 20%, then this 30-70 is lit. I'm down. And that's what Tarek just did. Okay, that's why he took that fight with knives. What's his probability of winning this round? The bomb's down, Breach has ult, Sage has res, we're low, we've got knives. They know our location. Our odds of winning this round is heckin' 10%. Okay? Does Tarek hit this shot more than 10% of the time? Yeah. Yeah, he does. Tarek hits that shot 20% of the time, 30% of the time. Do it take time to analyze every gunfight before you shoot? I would 100% absolutely recognize that this Jett wasn't looking at me. Am I consciously thinking about that? No. No, absolutely not. I guess it depends on whether or not this is your micro flick range. Okay, let me back into paint. Back into paint. We're drawing is diagram time with Woohoojin. This is our vision. It's our screen. It's our monitor. Our crosshair intuitively is on the middle. Every player has some circle with radius R around their crosshair such that they do not miss a micro flick. Radius R or lower. Now this could be a single pixel for the silver players in chat, right? They might only be able to hit the tiniest microflicks consistently. The better you are, the larger your R. Like let's say this is Yay's R, right? So that'll be Y sub R. And then this will represent some bronze's R, B sub R. If their head is within that radius for you, then yeah, you don't think. You insta flick and shoot. However, let's pretend their head is here. Your goal when their head is there is to one, flick your crosshair such that their head ends up in your circle and then perform an instant micro flick and click their head. The goal is to flick and their head ends up inside your R. Okay. And then you micro flick. Now, why does this matter? You're like, okay, Woohoojin, what's that have to do with understanding whether or not I should shoot this guy? Everything. This guy, in my opinion, is not inside of Dogja's R. I don't think Dogja can insta micro flick and click this head 85% of the time. I think Dogja's R is more like this. I think that Jett is a bit outside. So I think we need to aim for it. Now, there's a sweet spot, which I didn't describe. So I'm going to draw some like blue circle here. And this is our sweet spot. Now, forgive my circle. It's not a proper circle. And I'm going to argue to you that everything inside of this sweet spot, we aim at differently than everything out here. So my argument is that everything in this green area, we aim with that fast flick and then micro adjust. Everything in this blue area, this like middle range zone, we just slowly aim onto their head. And when I say slowly, I mean controlled, but at a pace at which we're comfortable with. It's like not quite a micro flick, but it's also not quite a flick. And in these ranges, we have the luxury of kind of adapting to the way that our enemies are playing. Okay. Jesus. So my R is probably like here. I can probably comfortably hit this when I'm warm every time. So this I'd say is in my blue range. Where I'm not gonna go for a flick and a micro adjust because honestly, a flick, I feel like a flick and micro adjust is slower than if I aim like to the head as fast as I can. So you've probably intuitively felt this yourselves. Now that I'm gonna explain it, it probably just feels right. This guy's close enough that I say they're in my blue range. I'm just gonna aim for the head and shoot. This is blue. Blue. Now this would be flick, micro adjust, shoot, right? Flick, shoot. And after the flick, sometimes, wow, what a flick. Sometimes they'll be in my micro flick range. And sometimes, like, let's pretend my flick here ends here. Sometimes they're in the blue range and I'll aim like that, okay? Wow. So let me try and say it out loud as I do it. So this is green, so it's a flick. That's a micro flick range I can hit. So I'll instant flick. Wow, look at me. I'm leaning back. Forgive me. Flick. I would call this a micro flick and I go for it right away. Micro flick, I go for it. Now this, look at that terrible flick. This is blue range, so look how I'm gonna aim. I hope you noticed that aim. I didn't try to intentionally slow it down at all. It's more controlled when it's blue range. It's less snappy and more controlled to the head when it's a blue range shot. Versus the micro flicks, let me intentionally set up for micro flicks. They're really snappy.